How many this is your first time at the San Diego Zoo? Wow, you're going to have a blast. It's wonderful. Well, welcome to our lovely zoo. We are visually clear. Thank you, Delaney.
This is a job I could do.
Let's go. I'd like to welcome everybody to the world famous San Diego Zoo. My name is Lee, and I'll be your guide for the next 35 to 40 minutes.
Oh, 35 to 40.
Now, on our journey today, we'll be covering about 75% of the zoo grounds. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. You're on vacation! Yay! That deserves a big yay. Now, we call ourselves more than a zoo for a lot of reasons. First of all, we are one of the largest conservation education organizations and leading, I should say not largest, but leading in the world. We are dedicated to saving endangered animals and their habitats all over the world. A wildlife sanctuary, fundraisers for conservation, and a breeding facility. Check it out. Cheetah on the left. I'm going to be very quiet as we go by.
And they're going to wait and stop underneath the grasses and then just go for it. They are pretty successful, but again, if they get a gazelle that can outrun them, then they're just going to have to give up because they can only go for so long before they have to just, back off and decide that, you know what, I'm not the energy to go this fast anymore.
Bobby and Bear, two of our animal ambassadors.
A gazelle or something.
Part of that education, conservation I was talking about. Okay, now that we're a little bit past the stage, to your right, that's one area we don't cover on the bus tour. Monkey trails and the Great Apes on Easy Street.
Oh, that's cool.
There's also an entrance into Tiger Trail and Hippo Trail down Easy Street where we first pulled out. So left, Discovery Outpost on your map. We also, this is a walking area. And there you'll find the Sky Ride. That'll take you across to the opposite end of the zoo, to and from the front and back all day, included in your one-day pass. It's also unlimited with your membership and your military ID. In the Discovery Outpost are our wonderful reptiles, the children's zoo, the petting paddock. There's also an area for really interesting animals like naked mole rats and two-toed sloths, the tiny marmoset monkeys, tamarin monkeys, Colombian spider monkeys, macaws, meerkats, and woodfowl. Many, many different animals in that area. All right, well, the zoo has close to 4,000 animals in its collection and about 700,000 plants from all over the world. So having this beautiful plant life allows us also to make these gorgeous environments for our animals. On the right is Tiger Trail. Tiger Trail was designed to be a Southeast Asian rainforest, and it's a huge area for our Malayan tigers. They have been healthier, both mentally and physically, in these types of environments, all of our animals. And we've had 13 cubs all together. Let's see if we can spot any in the viewing area here. So the San Diego, you don't want to come through here, please. Go that way. Go that way. This is a buses only. This is your trail. And yeah, that's why there's a chain there. It means not to come through. Okay, so take a look on your right. Anybody spot the tigers? They're hard to find. But like I said, they have the whole area to the right. There's two pools, climbing areas, and all that fun stuff. So this is part of that quarter of the zoo, but sometimes I like to just see if we can maybe catch a glimpse of them. Now to come downhill, all you do, when we first pulled out of the bus depot, that's Easy Street, where the tour booth is. You might have seen it there where the flamingos are. Walk down Easy Street and take your first left. It brings you right down this walking trail. And there's different viewing areas to spot the tigers. So San Diego Zoo is what is formed with three things. The San Diego Zoo, the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, our sister park, and
begonia.
Also the Institute for Conservation Research. They work in 35 countries. So it's all called San Diego Zoo Global. Our safari park opened in 1972 and it's 20 times the size of our zoo. And they have an amazing program there for the larger species. I'll be telling you some stories about our breeding programs there as well. They've had 25 Sumatran tiger cubs there. Take a look here. This is the African portion of the Lost Forest. And who's on the beach? One of our Nile River hippos. Hippos are vegetarians, but they love watermelon. That's one of their favorite things. They get that on their birthday. I think this is Otis. If we don't see the baby, then this is Otis. Otis weighs 3,800 pounds, and he is a male, of course. Papa to Adama, our baby, 2 years old. Punani and Adama are out on opposite days. Oh, he's going in the water. Here he goes. 1, 2, 3, hippo down. So hippos don't swim. They stay in shallow areas. Waterways used for agriculture now are causing them to have loss of habitat. Now we help animals and they help us. One of the really cool things about hippos is they have what's called a blood sweat. It's an oil they have on the surface of their skin, which is neither blood nor sweat. But you can discuss that later. The good thing is we know that it protects them against sunburn and infection, so we want to try and study the oil and maybe imitate it or mimic it somehow to come up with a sunscreen of our own, because a lot of the products that we use every day affect the rainforest, where 70% of the animals live. Especially sunscreen contains titanium dioxide, and that is unfortunately a problem, a severe problem for the lemurs in Madagascar, because they're taking away their rainforest habitat for the titanium dioxide. It's also used in vitamin supplements, makeup, lotions, shampoo, and many other products. So a lot of things we use every day we really don't realize. In here is what we call a really fun multi-species habitat. Not only fun for us, the animals too. We have 2 species of monkeys and otters all living together. The family of spotneck otters down below, some swamp monkeys, and gourmands. And to watch the interactions is really, really interesting. They all get different kinds of enrichment. Another word for enrichment could be toys, fun things to play with and motivate our animals. Some of the swamp monkeys that we have here were really part of a rescue effort. The San Diego Zoo rescued them from the illegal pet trade being sold in markets. Behind us in the giant panda, Yunza is out today, baby number 5, and his dad, Gao Gao. Mom is with baby. They're getting used to the new exhibit they'll be in very soon. So Mom and baby are off exhibit today. Just baby number 5, Yunza, and dad. Check out our giant pandas. Only 4 zoos in the United States that have pandas. Well, these are Caribbean flamingos, just like the ones we have in the front, and they are the largest and most colorful in the world. Does anybody know how they get that color? That's right, their diet. And it takes almost 2 years for flamingos to build up that color. In springtime, when Mom and Dad have the baby, they have 1 chick each pair of flamingos. They're monogamous, and they both feed the baby, so they start to lose some of that color because of the regurgitated food that it's called the crop milk. My favorite birds, and that's saying something because we have hundreds and hundreds of species, are these, the great white pelicans. They come from Africa, but these 4 came from Kansas. We do a lot of trading with other zoos. And they're just babies. When they get full grown, they get completely white and with a little pinkish hue. Check out here on the left. Do you see this red rectangle sign? This has a bus on it. This is a bus stop. And it is an express bus stop. There are 5 of them around the zoo. This is stop 2. The buses will show up to those stops every 10 to 15 minutes. Ride them as often as you want. You can ride them all the way around. You can get on and off at your leisure. So they're a great way to get up these hills, like the next one, Polar Hill, is often called Cardiac Hill, just to give you an idea. So use those. They run the same way, again, all day long, with your hand stamp. Now look at this circle. You see that number 16? Not a bus stop. Those are all over your map, and they are map locators or wayfinders to help you in this huge 100-acre zoo. So now you know the difference between our express signs and the other signs, because it can be confusing. Look at the employee pool. Isn't it beautiful? Just kidding, guys. That's our water reclamation area. But that's a cool area. I always like to tell this really neat story about something that happened a couple years ago. They were digging down to redo this hillside, and they found a, get this, 3.5 million year old baleen whale. The whole thing was about 26 feet long. Why would a whale be on the freeway? Because all of this area was under the ocean millions of years ago. They dug it up, took it carefully to the Natural History Museum next door, Balboa Park. We'll be celebrating its 100th birthday in 2015, and the zoo a year later. So we're pretty excited about our centennial. This freeway takes you north to our sister park. The safari park I mentioned earlier is 20 times the size. It has a zip line, jungle ropes, an African tram, photo safari, and Segway tours. All sorts of cool things. And also located there is the Institute for Conservation Research, doing miracles all the time, all over the world. Grevy's zebra are the largest in Africa. They're on the right, and each of them have a unique striping pattern. It's similar to our fingerprints. So researchers take pictures of the different body parts, and that's how they can tell them apart. But it does take a very trained or keen eye to be able to do that from afar. But with the pictures, it makes it a little easier to tell who's Larry, Moe, and Curly. One of the most popular areas at our zoo is here, Polar Bear Plunge at the northern frontier. It's a 2.5-acre walkthrough with Arctic foxes, Siberian caribou, and diving ducks. And we are in luck because we've got one of our polar bears right here in front of us. Perfect timing. Let's pull up and stop here. If you need to stand, go for it. Just be careful. If you do stand, make sure that you're not standing on the benches. 2 feet on the floor of the bus, please. This is one of our females, I think. Can't tell from here where I sit. But we have 3 that live here. Kaluk and his sister Takik were orphaned and rescued from Alaska. And then Chinook was rescued in Canada, all orphaned bears. So offering them a sanctuary here not only saves their lives, but helps us study their biology and behavior, and we can learn more about them. Kaluk weighs about 1,100 pounds. In the wild, he'd weigh maybe about 1,600. And actually, I think this is just so hard until I see it like from the front. This might be, I think this is Takik actually. Because Kaluk's huge, so that looks like that big. The water's between 50 and 60 degrees. Kind of warm if you think about it compared to the Arctic, but these are Californianized now. They've been here since the year 2000. You know that polar bears don't reach maturity until they're 10. So we've been trying for the last couple of years with Kaluk and his girlfriend Chinook, not his sister, that doesn't count. And we really hope in the future, near future, to have a baby. Would that be wonderful to study that? So they get carrots, romaine lettuce, grapes, and even peanut butter. They don't need the same type of fatty diet, extreme fat, living in this climate, so they can adjust to California. Kind of a neat area. And if you look in the back, up through the window, we have mock polar bear dens. The kids can climb through, they pop their head up through a hole, and there's a seal sculpture, so it looks like there's a little seal, so they can pop their head up and get a really great picture. We also have a real helicopter, and in the back, the Siberian reindeer and Arctic foxes, raccoon, diving ducks, all kinds of things to see. And the most important thing is that polar bears need our help to reduce climate change and global warming, because it's affecting the sea ice, which is their land. The tundra, the frozen tundra, every year freezes less and less, and it's causing polar bears sometimes to get food in other areas that they wouldn't normally go, like scavenging or landfills. So it is difficult. When you're hungry, you're going to look for something to eat. So studying them here and doing research in the Arctic, we can learn about their biology and behavior and create programs. In fact, we just finished a hearing test with Takik to reduce the industrial noise, which can affect the females in their winter sleep. So we're going to take off. So if you are standing, I'm going to have everybody take a seat as we pull away up the hill. Come back to the plunge, though, and check it out. This is Takik, I'm pretty sure, because Kaluk's a lot bigger. All right, ready? Here we go. One of my favorite stories on the tour is about the Arabian oryx. And they'll be up here on your right-hand side. They were extinct in the wild, and the safari park created a program with the 60 or so that were left. A reintroduction program. They have now released 239 back into Jordan, hoping to create a genetically diverse sustainable population there. Always happy good things. These are bontebaks on the right, and they are a type of gazelle from Africa. Next door, the long-necked Garanuc, or giraffe gazelle. And we have 2 brand new babies. They're less than a week old. These are the Cuvier gazelle, also from Africa. Look at the little ones there. Cute. I think they were born on Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday. So less than a week. Pretty cute. They have that black stripe around their eye that's an anti-glare characteristic, similar to what football players use. Only Mother Nature gave it to them. Here's our Skyfari West. This is where you would end up if you took the sky ride from the front by the, where we started, by the Discovery Outpost. Sky ride takes 4 minutes approximately to cross over the zoo. So even though it's a lovely ride, think of it also as transportation. It'll also be a great way for you to end your day, taking it back to the exit or head over from the opposite end to see our movie Ice Age in 4D, where you get to see and feel what's on the screen. On the left, some sleepyheads. How many of you have ever said the word koala bear? I'm sure everybody has heard that before. But are they bears, really? Koalas are not. They're marsupials. They have a pouch. Baby koalas are the size of a jelly bean when they're born. They climb up to mom's pouch and stay there for a good 6 to 7 months, nursing. And when they come out, they're all ready to eat their only diet, eucalyptus. Eucalyptus leaves were not originally from San Diego, but when they built the railroad, they brought in tons of eucalyptus trees from Australia, that's where they're from. And it turns out they were no good for railroad ties, so we have an abundance of eucalyptus. Now we have 3 females in there and a joey that just came out a short time ago. So check them out. They sleep about 22 to 23 hours a day. But you can catch them sometimes munching or even walking around, changing positions. On the right-hand side, you might smell them before you see them. These are called maned wolves. And they're right across from express stop number 3 here on the left. So this is where you would get off for the next stop for Elephant Odyssey or to walk downhill to polar bears if you don't want to take the sky ride. Maned wolves come from South America, particularly Brazil, and there are 2 in there. You might get to smell that urine that smells just like a skunk. Not really a wolf at all, kind of a mix of a fox, a wolf, and a dog. Very unique species, that's why they're their own. Well, we're entering into Elephant Odyssey now. The Odyssey is a living museum, and it compares San Diego, or I should say Southern California, 12,000 years ago to today. So we have a beautiful sculpture garden of extinct animals that once roamed these areas, like the Columbian mammoth, giant sloth, saber-toothed cat, and American lion. And all of them relatives to our present-day animals. For example, the American lion was about 30% larger than Etosha and Minbari here. Aren't they beautiful? What a great view. They're a little over 9 years old. They came to us from a zoo in South Africa in 2003. And anybody know what you call a group of lions? A pride. Very good. Why are they so unique among all big cats? What would you call, let's say, a group of jaguars or a group of tigers? Everybody's quiet, right? Because they don't live in groups. And that's the uniqueness about lions, is that they do live in a pride. Can be anywhere from 3 to 30 or more lions. And the 2 males, unrelated to the females, protect the pride and the cubs, which is different than other species. The males leave the pride anywhere from 2 to 4 to create their own pride. Sleeping in the tree and on the banister there on the pedestal. These are related to the saber-toothed cat, an extinct cat that once lived in the Americas. And these are from the Americas too. They are a New World cat, spotted jaguars. They're going to be celebrating their birthday very soon, next month, their first year. Tikal is the male, Madaris the female. And Mom is around there somewhere, Mindiri, almost the same size. She's very petite. So they're pretty much going to be probably bigger than she is. Jaguars live as close to us as Texas and as far away as Argentina. They can live in deserts, mountains, rainforests, all different habitats there. They can hunt day or night, have excellent night vision, and they're great swimmers. So they've been able to adapt despite adversity. Before the fur ban in the early 70s, 18,000 jaguar furs came into the United States annually. Thank goodness that we're trying now to help. And with this couple here, we have the first babies we've had since 1989. Guapo came to us from the San Antonio Zoo to meet Mindiri, and that's how we have Tikal and Madaris. And hopefully we'll have another family after that. Once they move to other breeding facilities, we do a lot of sharing with other zoos. The Elephant Odyssey is 7.5 acres, and that big pool over there serves our 6 elephants well. Not only is it a living museum here, but it's also a retirement home for our Asian and African elephants. We have 6 elephants. There's Tembo over there. She's a retired TV star. Some of you may remember a show in the 70s called Born Free. She was the star of that show. Her companion, another African female, is Shaba. Shaba came to us from Tucson, Arizona, and has now bonded with all the girls, Tembo, Mary, Smitty, and Debbie. In the back, I think that's Debbie. She's one of our Asian girls. How do you know the difference between Asian and African elephants at first glance? The ears, that's right. Big ears on the African. Also, those ears are kind of shaped like the continent of Africa. Now, the utilitaries provide the elephants with exercise. Thank you for demonstrating, Tembo. And it also is good for the shade, heaters, and back scratchers. Now, notice that she's reaching in there. In that trunk alone, she has 40,000 muscles. That's more than we have in our whole body. Our elephants get about 100 pounds of hay a day, and some tree browse and treats as well. And they get excellent health care here at our care center, state of the art, unlike any place in the world. The care center provides them with pedicures to prevent infection from getting through the toenail and into the bone. They also check all the other body parts. And you know, it's kind of hard to take an elephant to the doctor. So if they need any specific type of care, let's say a surgical procedure, they can do it right here at the care center. We have 6 veterinarians on staff, and our elephant experts here have been working with elephants for over 20 years, some of them even longer. So the care center will weigh the elephants as soon as they come in. They get weighed with the scales built right in. That's Ranchipur. He's our only male. He's a bull elephant and weighs about 11,000 pounds from Asia. He's an Asian elephant. As we move on, let's look at the secretary birds. These are terrestrial hunters. They walk 10 to 20 miles looking for, pretty much pouncing on anything that moves, but they basically like small mammals, mice and things, snakes, and large insects. One of their favorite things to eat is the mambo, one of the most dangerous snakes in the world. Yeah, I'm talking about you. If you look at their legs, the left band means it's a girl, the right band means it's a boy. And San Diego Zoo researchers were the first ever to discover a way to tell the gender of birds without using invasive methods. All they do is study the poo. They study the droppings for hormone levels, and they can tell if it's a male or a female. Pretty cool idea. So speaking of poo, since we're on the subject, having 6 elephants here, we get about 300 pounds of poo a day. And we do send it out to be recycled, just like our panda poo. They make all sorts of things. They use it for fuel and other items. But you go to our gift shop, check out the poo-poo paper made of elephant poo. And you can write on it and say, "Greetings to you from the San Diego Zoo on elephant poo." Pretty good. Now, we're going to stay on the subject of poo, because over here on the left, I know it's a crazy subject, is a tree that grew from chimpanzee fecal matter. It's an African ficus tree. It's right up here on the left. And it's really cool because we wanted to know what the chimps ate in Africa. We planted it, and this tree right here on the left grew. So now our bonobos get fresh poo leaves every day. It's an African ficus tree. Now, you'll see a lot of plants and trees around the zoo that might remind you of Dr. Seuss's stories, too. He and his wife, the Geisels, Audrey still lives here. She just had her 90th birthday and is a major donor for the San Diego Zoo. But he was inspired by a lot of things here. There's our pronghorns. Remember the song Home on the Range, where the deer and the antelope play? Well, the deer and the antelope are one animal right there. Pronghorns are so unique that they are their own species too, just like the maned wolves. They have horns that they lose like antlers, and they are the second fastest land mammal on the planet. They run about 55 miles per hour. And we have another multi-species animal in here with them, the dromedary camels. Both the pronghorns and the camels and the animals we're about to see in the rest of the Odyssey survived the last ice age and lived here in Southern California. Dromedaries don't live here anymore. They're all domestic and they're found in Africa, Asia, and parts of Australia. For example, see this tree right here? It's kind of a short, scraggly leaf tree. Doesn't that remind you of Thing 1 and Thing 2's hair? Yeah. It was said that the theory is that that was an inspiration to those characters. Well, we're going to cover on the curve California condors. They also survived the last ice age, but barely. In 1982, there were only 22 of these beautiful guys left. Their wingspan is 2 feet wider than this bus. The condors are important for our ecosystem because they eat carrion, or dead carcasses, keeping all the planet free of disease. And these birds, as they grow, their heads turn pinker and pinker. And if you want to watch them raising them, it's pretty exciting. At the Institute, they have the Condorminium. Whoever came up with that name, kudos. What a great name. The Condorminium has raised over 400 California condors. In our reintroduction program, we've released more than 200 back into Arizona, Mexico, and California. Seeing them fly free and having babies of their own is really heartwarming, and we are hoping for a sustainable population in the near future. Why are they so endangered? Well, first of all, they lost their major food source, Columbian mammoths. They also, when they introduced pesticides like DDT, made their shells fragile, so when they would lie on the eggs, the mother would accidentally crack them because they just couldn't handle it. And then lead poisoning, which still happens today from carcasses that have a bullet in it from a hunter. They accidentally ingest the bullet and the lead gets into their systems. Express stop number 4. So we're working hard to increase our condor population. Go to our website, sandiegozoo.org, and click on Condor Cam, and you can watch how they do that with a hand puppet. It's pretty fascinating. We also have a ape cam, elephant cam, condor cam, what else? Koala cam, and many other cams. Videos and all sorts of information on the research and animal info. It's a great website. Even slideshows and stuff. Meerkats, they love the sunshine. They're very active little guys. They dig, they forage, but the most important position is the sentry guard, keeping them safe from predators. Even here in Southern California, we do have wild hawks that can fly around, so you'll watch the sentry guards looking in the air and all around for any danger to warn the group. Remember little Timon from The Lion King? He was a meerkat. Type of mongoose. Northern Chinese leopard. This is Jama. Jama is almost 19 years old. He is a beautiful pet that came to us from a zoo in Berlin, Germany. Leopards tend to like higher positioning, so they're happy to be above you. And their fur has what is called a rosette versus a cheetah that has spots, or a jaguar has both rosettes and spots. African hornbills. These are called trumpeter hornbills. We got mom, dad, and 3 kids in here. And a cliff springer, a tiny little African antelope. Their hooves are similar to like a suction cup. They're kind of rubbery, so they can jump up and land on a spot the size of the palm of your hand. So we're going to head down Parkway. The road up to the left is a road called, it's part of Front Street, or Campbell Road. We have fruits, vegetables, and herbs, organic stuff growing all across there. We're going to head now and see some animals down in this region. Matador eagles on the right-hand side from Africa. Bright red faces and bright red feet. They tip their wings back and forth like tightrope walkers. And on the right, let's see if our singing dogs are not in here. They're probably out for a walk. New Guinea singing dogs are the oldest breed of dog known to man. And they howl, similar to, if you come at 5 o'clock today, you can enjoy the high notes, as they say. Way up on the left are Bactrian camels. They're along that road I told you about. They're the ones with the 2 humps from Asia and Russia. Bactrian camels start with a capital B. 2 humps in that letter, dromedary, capital B, 1 hump. The striped hyenas. see them right there? They really blend in well. Striped hyenas have a dorsal mane that stands up on their back about 8 to 10 inches long. Makes them sort of seem a lot larger than they really are. Hyenas, like condors, also eat leftovers. They're important for that ecosystem, keeping the steppes of Africa clean. Yellow-footed rock wallaby, I see the little ears pointing up right there. From the desert regions of Australia and the vertical rock walls. And on the left is the big cat trail. Don't miss this. Today, come up and see the big cats up close. We have the Siberian lynx in this enclosure on the left. Generally, the best time is late in the day. The later, the better. Or very early. So once the sun starts to set, the cats start to wake up. Anybody know an animal here in North America that's similar to a Siberian lynx? Starts with a B? Bobcat. That's exactly right. They're very, very similar. Well, I'm going to go by quietly. I want you to check out our brand new babies. These are not the babies. These are the southern warthogs. Pumbaa, remember? But the peccary have the little ones. And they're sleeping right there. Can you see them? They're really tiny. It looks like a dirt ball, but no. They're 3 little babies. Folks, what does it mean when an animal is extinct? Anybody? Gone, right? Gone forever? Well, everybody thought that peccary were extinct, the Chicoan peccary, until 1975 when they discovered some in Paraguay. So we've been trying to keep their numbers up. But this litter of 3 is pretty exciting. Sometimes miracles happen. Anybody from Texas aboard? Any Texans? Yes? Oh, my exes live in Texas. I just wanted to sing that song. No, it's important. The reason I'm asking about Texas is because you might know the jabalina, right? People in Texas know about the jabalina. That's a relative. The peccaries are relative to the jabalina. On the left, snow leopards. Can you see them? Look closely. Play a little Where's Waldo, because they are the exact color of the rocks and live 18 to 20,000 feet in the Himalayas. We have 2 of them, Anna and Bo, and we're really hoping for a baby snow leopards. That would be fabulous. From the 1920s, these enclosures are really old. They've been adapted and readapted and are soon to be gone forever. We're going to remodel the whole side. We're always making improvements here at the zoo. But we do rely on donations since we're non-profit. So from the very top where the Bataleur Eagles are, all the way down to the bottom to the Panda Restaurant, to Wame Cafe, we're going to make a new environment, all modernized and easy walking for even folks with wheels. So sounds like a great idea. And we're very excited. It's a bigger project than Elephant Odyssey was, which took 2.5 years to complete. We have to finish before our centennial in 2016. All right, who knows about the honey badger? Ever watch that YouTube? Honey badger, often called the southern ratel, same animal, originate from Africa. And they're similar to a skunk, but their smell doesn't linger like a skunk's. Honey badgers, whatever they decide to eat, whatever they tackle, they got it. They can even eat a cobra. Cobra will bite them. They'll go to sleep for a couple seconds, wake up, and continue eating. They're just tough little guys. They mostly like the larvae from the honey bees. There on the left is Orson, our black jaguar, the oldest cat at the zoo. Folks, he is 20 years old. Hellenistic jaguars. They live in more dense parts of the rainforest, but they do come from the same thing, South America, like the spotted jaguar we saw earlier. Generally in the wild, they live maybe to 14 or 15 years old, and he's already 20. Pretty impressive. When he was younger, he loved to play tug of war. There's a chain hanging there, you can see. We would hang a leg of lamb, and the keepers would pull. Sometimes we'd need 2 keepers to hang on to play a little like a piñata, sort of. And now he likes to participate in meatball hunts to keep him and his little bit arthritic bones moving around. On the left, the puma. Anybody know another name for puma besides expensive tennis shoes? Anybody? It starts with a C? Come on, you know. Cougar. Right. What about another one? Another name? Mountain lion. Do you know they have over 40 names? They won the Guinness Book of World Records for the most names of any animal. That's pretty impressive. They've lived in many regions and been named by many tribes and people all over the world. They're even found in Florida now, I've heard. Mostly they were on the western part of the United States. On the left, one of the rarest of all leopards are called Amur leopards, two brothers that are they're from a breeding program, so they will eventually end up back there, but they're still pretty young. There are only 35 in the wild and about 300 in captive breeding programs from southeast Russia. Here we are at stop number 5, the very bottom of the zoo. How do you get up? Well, you can take an escalator to the back. See that hidden one in the bushes there? That speed ramp will take you back up to the 4D Theater, to the Polar Bears, to the Sky Ride. Or take a bus here at stop 5, back up to Urban Jungle where we're headed. So everywhere from pandas is up. Wame Cafe is named after our first baby panda, Wame. She went on to go back to China and had 3 sets of twins and 4 single births. And now is a grandma. So of the 6 babies, all 5 of our babies, besides Wame, were fathered by Gao Gao. You know what they say about Gao Gao? Go see Gao, he knows how. He's the only natural breeding male panda in the Western Hemisphere. Up here we have a family of langurs. These are called Francois Langer from Vietnam. And mom's holding the baby right there in her tummy. Little tail coming down. They have straight tails. That means they're from Asia or Africa. Or Old World monkey. The New World monkeys from South America have what's called a prehensile tail, a curly tail that's kind of like an extra hand. See, these plants on the left are really cool. They're called cycads. Asian cycads are considered the oldest seed-bearing plants in the world, dating back to the dinosaur time. And they are on the endangered list. Here in California, they call them sago palms, but they are not a palm at all. They release a cone just like a pine tree. So Center Street is home to many of our bears. If you come around maybe lunchtime or a little later, we'll see our sun bears, the smallest bears in the world, from Borneo. Orangutans live in Borneo as well, and their habitat is extremely endangered because of palm and palm derivatives, destroying animal habitat, not giving them a very good home. At 1:15, play days, shiny snacks. Come and see the bears get some snacks. So next time you go shopping, or even if you don't, go on the website, any website, you can just Google it and say orangutan-friendly palm oil. That way you can support companies that are not destroying any more habitat. Did you know that every hour, more and more habitat in the orang in the orang rainforest is being destroyed for that palm. So we want to try to support companies that are not purchasing any palm oil from those areas. This is a little otter. Her name is Sweet Otter. She's lying on the beach enjoying her little sunbath. Otters have very soft, thick fur, and they're very intelligent. Have you ever seen an otter on its back, sort of eating, floating on its back? Yep. Well, they do that, so nobody takes their food on the shore. Pretty clever animals. They even use tools. One of the first animals known by man to use tools. Zephyr and Turbo are our spotted hyenas, the ones people call laughing hyenas. And Andean bear is in our view here. This is Tommy. Tommy is one of the rarest bears in the world. Andean bears live in South America. They are the only bears that live there. And I'm going to go by slowly so everybody can get a look. One of their nicknames, spectacle bears, because they have rings around their eyes that look like they're wearing spectacles or glasses. These bears are part of a species survival plan, and that is to increase the quantities and also come up with conservation strategies because their numbers take precedence over others, very few left. Loss of habitat for logging and agriculture. They live in Bolivia, Venezuela, Peru, and those areas. 70% of the animals have lost or are losing much of their habitat. And one of the most important things to remember, of course, is recycling. We talk about that a lot, reducing, reusing, taking those cloth bags to the store. But one of the most important things that a lot of people don't realize are recycling cell phones. Helps the mountain gorillas. Coltan is a precious metal ore that makes all of your wireless and electronic devices function. Especially cell phones are used a lot. I mean, a lot of people have them. They're constantly buying new ones. So make sure you recycle them because they do strip mine the area where the mountain gorillas live to get the coltan. Very unfortunate. So I try to spread the word. I was a teacher for over 25 years, and I brought the love of wildlife and conservation into my classroom by putting a cardboard box. If you have kids or know of people, spread the word. And just write on the sign on the box says, recycle your cell phones, help the mountain gorillas. We do that here at the zoo or at Best Buy as well. Home Depot, Target, they all recycle your cell phones so we can get that coltan back into circulation. Well, let's check out the tallest members of our zoo, the Maasai giraffe. And we have a whole family here. On the far left behind the rock is Nikki, chewing away. They're ruminants, like llamas and camels and cows. They chew their cud. They don't have any teeth on their top, the top of their mouth. And that's Silver checking Nikki out. Silver is the papa. He's the happy father of these two little ones, Macaulay and Robert. Robert's over there in the far right. Macaulay and Robert are half brother and sister. Robert is Bahati, this darker female, her 9th baby. And Harriet and Macaulay, mother and baby, that's her first baby. Let's compare. Macaulay was 112 pounds at birth and about 5'9", while her half-brother Robert, he was 163 pounds and almost 6 feet tall. Generally, giraffes are between 140 and 160 pounds at birth, so Macaulay was so tiny. She was the smallest giraffe we ever had, but she's doing good. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Here's a question for you. Do you think giraffes have more or less vertebrae in their neck than we do? The same. You guys know, 7. But each vertebrae is about the length of your ruler, 10 inches, 10 to 12 inches. When they're born, they fall 6 feet, head first. It severs the umbilical cord and helps them breathe. Mom gives birth standing up in 2 to 3 hours. And that seems like a fair deal because not only is she giving birth to a baby that's like a basketball player, but she also had a 14 to 15 month gestation. Fair is fair, right? This little pen is set up because Nikki is due any day. So we want to have it all ready so we can put Nikki there. And she'll give birth right here in front of everybody. So any day. Anybody ever heard a giraffe make a sound before? Well, the sounds they make are called infrasonic sounds. So they do communicate with one another. We just can't hear them with our human ears. They might be talking about you right now. I've been practicing. Do you want to hear my giraffe imitation? Yes. All right, here it goes. 1, 2, 3. That was hard. It's hard to be quiet. The submarine gazelle, if they're around, are also sharing this area. They have some 7-month-old babies. Super cute. On the right are one-horned rhinos. These are brothers, Soman and Sarat. Soman just had his 8th birthday, and Sarat is 2 years younger. Another one of my favorite stories is about the rhinos. First of all, everybody knows they're endangered, right? Almost every species is endangered to some degree. In fact, they all are. Because of illegal poaching for the horns, in Asian African cultures, they still believe those horns have some type of medicinal purpose, but they are made of keratin, same thing in our fingernails and our hair. And I say bite your nails and leave those rhinos alone. So it's really sad. What they're trying now is putting a little chip inside the horn so they can track it. Pretty cool, like a chip that your dog has, something like that, similar. Because not only, they may not stop the poaching, but they can at least track the horn and track the people that are illegally selling these horns. Guess what though? These two are 2 of over 60 births we've had at the safari park of the greater one-horned rhino. We've had 93 southern white rhinos and over 40 black rhinos. These animals here are animal ambassadors, including the rhinos. They're used to all of us. And it's a great way to educate the public and just have fun getting up close and personal. This is Zari and Sophia Loren. Zari is a Grant zebra, the smallest of the plain zebra. Sophia Loren is a Sicilian donkey. Zari does all sorts of tricks with hand signals. She'll do different things. She took a liking to her trainer. It's hard to train zebras, but you know what? Sophia Loren can do something Zari can't. She hee-haws in Italian. Very impressive. On the left, one of my favorite animals, Jira and Tango, red kangaroos, the largest of all marsupials in the world. Hey folks, what percent of marsupials have a pouch? All of them. Does everyone agree? 50%, just the girls. I know, I'm bad. I'm bad. These flamingos were also hand raised. So they'll come up and say hello. Pretty awesome. They'll eat right out of here. The back takes fat. We don't want to feed our animals because we keep them on a very strict, nutritious diet. Crikey the kookaburra, the clouded leopards, the binturong, and Murphy the red river hog are all in through here that you can enjoy when you come through Urban Jungle. It's just a big cul-de-sac of animals. And on the left, what we saw earlier, only this is, I think this is Baka and Miley. Depends on the dog. If I can see the dog, then I can tell you what cheetah it is. All of our cheetahs have a best friend dog. It just makes them feel more comfortable as ambassadors in this busy zoo environment. Being comfortable meaning that dogs have been domesticated for years. So if, what time is it? Oh, 11:30, you can come and meet the ambassadors right here. It's about a 5-minute walk from the end of our tour, just coming back to Urban Jungle. It's also where Stop 1 is located, the closest to the main entrance. This is Stop 1 on the right. We do not have any express stops at the main entrance, just so you know. So we're really excited because May 24th is the grand opening of our Australian Outback, a brand new home for over 3 dozen koalas. Our first 2 koalas came to us in 1925, Snugglepot and Cuddlepie. And they were a gift from the children of Sydney, Australia to the children of San Diego. Since then, we have now helped the critically endangered koala and had many births. So right now, though, a lot of them are still on a loan program. This program is a fundraiser that goes to helping save animal habitat in Australia. And they've done some really cool studies. I was just reading about them, in fact, the other day. I always like to learn new stuff. It's important, something I'm passionate about, to share with all of you. They put little collars, little GPS systems on these koalas in Australia to figure out where they're going and where they're traveling, because automobiles are one of the worst enemy because of severe loss of habitat. They can get run over by cars. They're trying to create safe places for them. Do you know that a koala, one of them, they found traveled 11.5 acres in one day? So they don't just hang out in the tree all day. This was our old koala exhibit. They're going to have some beautiful aviaries and other Australian exhibits in here, and even unveil some really cool Aborigine totems, totem art. I'm excited to see it all. And again, that's in May, a grand opening of our Outback. So I hope that I've been able to tell you a little bit about why we're more than a zoo. We are a breeding facility, a wildlife sanctuary, and fundraisers for conservation research. But everything that we do here, we could not do if it weren't for all of you. So from the heart, on behalf of the San Diego Zoo, my name is Lee. Thanks for coming and helping us help the animals. It is teamwork, and we appreciate your visits here. So thanks. I think I'll stay here where we have a view, and then we'll pull. As soon as that bus pulls away, we'll pull in. It's boring if I pull up there, so at least we got a nice view of the bear enclosures. I don't know where our bears are right now. All right. By the way, are any of you coffee drinkers? Yes? Taste our coffee here. It's shade grown. It's called the Zoo Brew. And you can purchase shade grown coffee in many places now. And if you do, you know you're helping out, because shade grown coffee offers a home to wildlife. It does not deplete any rainforest. So look for the words shade grown on the label. Trader Joe's has a bunch of varieties, and we sell it on Easy Street at our Zoo Brew coffee shop. It's delicious. But I mean, you can buy it to take home in a bag, for example. Comes from all over the world, so it supports the local farmers too. So please remain seated until we get the doors safely opened, okay? And I wish you a lovely day at the San Diego Zoo. There's all sorts of play days. Look at the back of your map for all of our